out this lesson. The Bible is full of such things, and they are there to make you think. What do when you read in one verse, "Don't be a child," and you read in another verse, "Be a child"? What do? Some people throw their Bible away. Well, that's sad. What God is saying, think over. There is a sense in which this is true. There is a sense in which this is true. I'm not speaking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm talking in paradoxes to wake you up. Now, if you think I'm bringing that to the Bible in a kind of rhetorical device, I would say, okay, fine, but I'm not. If I were, it'd be okay. G.K. Chesterton was a master at it. I'm not bringing it to the Bible. It's in the Bible, and sometimes the Bible puts the paradoxical statements back to back to let us know, I do that sometimes. For example, you may remember this from your trek through Proverbs, chapter 26, verses 4 and 5. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. That's verse 4. Verse 5. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in himself. You think he didn't know what he had written in verse 4 when he wrote verse 5? The point of Proverbs is think. Proverbs don't solve problems, they create problems. Really. More often they create problems. I got to figure this out. When does this apply? When doesn't it apply? Doesn't seem to work here. Oh, it works here. That's where he meant it to work. You can't live the Christian life without this kind of spiritual wisdom that takes contradictory proverbs and know when one is to be applied. That's why the Proverbs say a proverb in the mouth of a fool is like leaning on a thorn. It goes right through your hand. Fools can't handle the Proverbs. Only wise people can handle the Proverbs. Because wise people have learned how to be children and not be children. How to be wise and understanding, not be wise and understanding. And they're not put off by the Bible's paradoxes. They're drawn into them and said, oh, God, make me deep. Please, I don't want to apply this proverb when that one should be applied. And I don't want to be a child when I should be a grown-up. And I don't want to be a grown-up when I should be a child. Oh, God, please, I can't do this on my own. I need your help. Where am I? 7? Number 7. 2 more and then we shift over. We do not want you to view thinking as unnecessary to knowing God or as decisive in knowing God. We don't want you to view thinking as unnecessary in knowing God. It is necessary. Or view it as decisive in gaining a knowledge of God. It isn't decisive. The main text, perhaps second main, in my mind, that produced most of my thinking about thinking is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 7, which goes like this. Think over what I say, Timothy. This is Paul to his son in the faith. Think over what I say, for the Lord will give you understanding in everything. So here's a command, think over what I say. This I think generally that would be think over the Bible. Think over the apostolic word, the prophetic word, the Jesus word. Think over what I say. It's a command. And then he says, because, and he gives the ground, the Lord will give you understanding in everything. So, Those two sentences keep together what it seems to me historically so many separate. So we don't want you to separate them. We want you not to undervalue the necessity of thinking. Because he says, think. And Paul, 10 times, I've got the text listed right here, 10 times in the book of Acts says he reasons to try to bring people to a knowledge of the Messiah and see them put their faith in him. But it's not decisive. The reasoning, the thinking is not decisive. It says, think over what I say, for the Lord will give you understanding in everything. And so many people swerve off the road on one side or the other. And some stress, think over what I say. And others say, the Lord gives understanding and illumination. It's not your mind, it's not your brain. And Paul won't have it like that. He will not be divided like that. Both human thinking and divine illumination. Not either or. Think over what I say. Now notice this word for. Think over what I say because the Lord will give you understanding. So there's a promise made, and that promise is the ground of the effort. You make the effort to think, I promise you, I'm going to do the decisive giving. Paul does not say, God gives you understanding, so you don't need to waste your time thinking. And he does not say, think hard, because there is no such thing as divine illumination. It's your brain that makes all the difference. You're decisive. He doesn't say either of those. He says, think over what I say, for the Lord will give you understanding in everything. God's gift of illumination is the ground of our effort to understand, not the substitute for it. Anybody who thinks without prayerful trust in God's gift of understanding will not likely get it. And anybody who tries to lay hold in an end run around thinking on divine illumination without applying their mind to what is written will not get it. Number 8, and here I can keep it short because it's a restatement of Francis Chan's embodiment of it last evening. Number 8 is, we don't want you to leave here with a proud and loveless mind. That's a thing we hope has been, will be prevented as much as humans can be a part of that prevention. And I will read Francis' text again. 1 Corinthians 8, 1-3. Now concerning food offered to idols, we know that all of us possess knowledge. This knowledge puffs up. But love builds up. If anyone imagines that he knows something, he doesn't yet know as he ought to know. But if we love God, if anyone loves God, he is known by God. So one thing is clear from that